everybody, Grand Rising. Welcome to Rise Up Breathwork with Matt Thomson and me, Sandy. And we are here from the People's Congregation of Shakers and Movers. I am what we call the Director of Spiritual Innovation. So what does that mean? So my role at the church is to meet people where they're at, to ask, why are you seeking support? What are you looking for in a spiritual community? And so as someone who grew up in Maine and didn't have a lot of options other than like traditional churches, there wasn't a lot of yoga studios, there wasn't a lot of sound healing going on there. You know, it was certainly the great vibration from my mom and dad's Harley Davidson. But other than that, which I found very therapeutic going for rides with my daddy actually. But we are here to seek out new ways or maybe, alternative ways, whatever you want to call it, for people to come together, find connection, raise their vibration and the collective's vibration. So for me, over the last 3 or 4 years, I have found breathwork, and I had been doing yoga on and off for probably close to 25 years at this point. But it was always something I just did. I went to go to yoga more for like fitness purposes, to like get strong and flexible, but I wasn't really doing it for my spiritual self. And so I would say in the last few years, as a person that thought I could not meditate, I actually have discovered that I can't live without it now. And that's largely because of learning about breath work. So for me, it was a lot more approachable to learn how to breathe, and then my body and my mind would come into this relaxed state where you kind of are like, it's like ninja style meditation. Like all of a sudden you realize, oh wait, I think I am meditating and I think I actually can do this. So yeah, Matt, so what is breath work to you? Why do we call it Rise Up Breathwork, this offering?
Rise Up Breathwork. So rise up, the first word, for me is about, it's about like rising up for yourself, standing up for you. Because I think so much of our journey we are reaching outside of ourselves to make ourselves feel good. And so rise up is really for me about rising up to find the comfort within me. So I'm rising up and standing up for me for a change.
I like that. I didn't know that was the inspiration for me. See, that's why I asked.
Yeah. And the breath work. So breath work is kind of like two things with two things inside of it. So it's breath work can be time-wise. Breath work can be like a long piece where it's like an hour-long breath work session. And also it can be in smaller doses, like where we can use particular breaths for 5 minutes, 1 minute, 10 minutes, or we can do like a 30-minute session. But within the definition of using, like, because we can do like a short meditation of like 5 minutes. We can do a meditation that's like I just put 2 clients on a timer for every hour their timer goes off. And when the timer goes off, the invitation is for them to breathe for 1 to 3 breaths or up to a minute.
Okay.
And so, but that's still almost like breath work because we're tuning into the breath, even if it's just that one breath. It almost like brings like a calming to the system.
So you would say it's like when you become intentionally conscious and aware of your breath for however much time.
Right.
And it doesn't have to be this like Wim Hof,
right.
You're going to hyperventilate. And in fact, that's not even really recommended for a lot of people to do all the time, right? It would be more if you're in a state of disease and you're trying to snap yourself out of it, or maybe you're trying to run a race or challenge your body to be in cold water or something like that, right? So I think we don't have to be extreme about it, is the point.
Exactly. So that's the next part I was actually just going to talk about. So that was beautiful.
Oh.
That fit right in. Because the first part being time, so it could be like the longer or shorter session or a breath. And then what you were just mentioning is what we call like an activating breath. And so, or we can have a breath that's not activating. So the Wim Hof, the conscious connected breathing that we do through the mouth, and other techniques are more activating. So it's actually going to activate our nervous system into that fight or flight.
Right.
And so that's when we're doing work on our energy or healing that inner child aspect of us. And if we're doing specific work on that, sometimes we want to activate the system to help feel it at that deeper level so that we can actually meet that child within us and then really transform energetically.
Or even a trauma or
Traumas, yeah.
emotions that are stuck.
All of it, yeah. Emotions,
pain,
trauma.
even physical pain that's
Everything.
stuck, yeah.
Physical pain, disease, like you said, we can breathe into that
Yeah.
using this breath as well too. And there's many different techniques depending on what you're working on.
Right.
And then the second part, so that sometimes I think is like the first thing that people think about with breath work. And that's fine. But the other flip side, or when we discern that, is using the breath to relax.
Right.
And so, because we don't need to go into the Wim Hof like you stated.
Right.
We can actually just, with doing like the short breath for one breath, if we want to relax, what do we want to do? What's the difference between the inhale and exhale?
You extend the exhale. I don't know if I understand the question.
Extend
the exhale. Yeah,
extend
like
the
slow
exhale.
the breath down.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. You got it.
Okay.
And so we want to extend that exhale out longer than our inhale, and that's how we relax.
Right.
If we want a quick shot of coffee, we could do 3 to 5 breaths. So you said you're a little bit tired this morning.
Yeah.
So let's try this for a moment. So instead of we're gonna extend the inhale.
Okay.
For say maybe 5 into the stomach, and then we're just gonna let the breath fall out quickly, and then breathe right back in, because we want the inhale to be longer. So then let it fall and then go right into it, and now just repeat that a couple times. Yeah, and just find what's correct for you, and maybe do it one more time. Beautiful.
It's
and
harder
now,
breathing into your stomach sitting.
Yeah, now I just invite you to feel that for a moment. Just close your eyes or open your eyes or whatever feels
I
correct.
have like a tingly feeling.
Yeah, just feel that, because you said you're coming in a little
Yeah,
tired.
it wakes you up. I feel it all over to my whole body. It's kind of like the indica breath.
Yeah.
You feel it in
So
your
we're
body.
just really oxygenating the system so that all the systems within you come alive.
Right. These would be
Right.
great techniques if you're like a student trying to do
Yeah.
your final exams and you're feeling a little groggy, or driving when you're driving and you feel like you're falling asleep.
Yeah. Much
better than slapping yourself in the face.
Yeah, and so much better than drinking like one of
Red
those,
Bull and
exactly.
So
and then so we had the activating breathing, and we have the breathing to help relax and calm our nervous system. And that's kind of like how we can look at breath work in a simple way. Time, activating or non-activating breathing.
And we can play on the word work, like how are you going to work it in to your everyday life and everyday scenarios as part of integration?
And we're going to do that today. So,
right.
How do we integrate? Because I think a lot of times people go to a breathwork piece. Maybe someone goes to retreat.
Yeah.
And then they come out of it, and for 3 to 10 days, they're feeling really like life is different, life has changed. That was so beautiful. I'm on top of the world. And then all of a sudden, boom, they go right back into their regular living.
Right. And right back to
and all of a sudden it's like, well, what happened?
Right.
How did I lose that? And so we lose things like that because what happens is that we don't integrate into our day. So how do we integrate into the day? What are we doing to learn how to breathe? So like I mentioned, I put 2 one-on-one clients onto a timer that goes off every hour. And so that's one way to start integrating and bringing more awareness into the breath. Now, many of you out there might be like, well, I can't quiet my mind.
That's how I was, yeah.
So what do we do? And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to talk about that. We're going to breathe. The invitation for today is going to be listening.
Okay, I'm going to get on the mat.
So, yeah. And so when we listen, listening is so beautiful. Listening, right, when we listen, maybe even put headphones on as an invitation if you're at home. But I invite you just to listen to the sound for a moment. Don't identify what the sound is. See if we can just listen with no words for a moment, just for a moment. And have eyes open, have eyes closed. And just breathe. We don't even have to focus on the breath. We can just listen and just let our bodies naturally breathe us for a moment. And so, there's so much to listen to. Maybe I'm really stressed out and I'm driving through the city. Maybe I'm with my children and I need a break, but I really can't take one. I'm driving in this insane backed up traffic. I can't pull over and take a break right now. I'm in a business meeting, feeling stressed, maybe triggered by another human. Maybe I'm on a long flight going to Europe, and I'm on the airplane for 6 hours, and I'm becoming really agitated and really fidgety. Maybe I am new to breathing. Maybe I'm tired of how my life is right now, and I'm seeking something new. Maybe I'm just tired of how I feel. Tired of how I think all the time. So what's a gateway into something new? Listening. When we begin to just listen to sound, like now, we'll take another minute and just listen. Excuse me for a second. So we're just going to listen, not just to what I'm playing, but whatever sounds are present and real for you, to invite those in as well, and just listen. You can allow for yourself to identify, because a part of you wants to do that. But then recognize that you're identifying because we want to honor that. It's just part of who we are. Our brain wants to think. But then just honor and be like, okay, I know what you are, but now I'm just going to listen. And so now some of us may just drop gently into the sound and into how our body feels. Or just we can have sensations in our body. If the mind goes to that point where we don't have to think or identify, maybe the breath and this breathing naturally, maybe it made us feel lighter. Maybe it brought a softness to a part of us that maybe felt heavy, maybe a part of us that felt sad. Maybe we were feeling depressed. Maybe we were full of joy. Whatever that emotion is for you that you were bringing into this moment before arriving, just tapping in, how do you feel now? Through just listening and allowing for yourself to identify if that happened. And just listening to the sounds in your space for a moment. And so listening, we can just listen to the traffic while we're driving in the traffic jam, or play music or a podcast. You're not even really trying to identify my words either. Just hear. Let it sink in. You will learn it at a deeper level than through identification. When we feel into it. Maybe just tapping into listening and breathing naturally calms us while we're driving. All of a sudden, we can maybe just enjoy some stillness when we're surrounded by the chaos of traffic. We're like the one person, maybe look for people smiling. Maybe just listen to the meeting without identifying with who's speaking or what they're saying, but just actively listening and allowing for the body to decompress from a trigger or maybe just an uncomfortable conversation. And so listening, we can really bring into so many beautiful parts of our day when we're still present with what's going on, but we're just maybe bringing a heightened sense of awareness to how we listen. So just an invitation as we sink in a little bit deeper now, and just breathing naturally, whatever's correct for you, whatever the body's asking for, and let's just listen for another minute. Really suggest headphones if you're not live with me. Just listen to everything. The sound in your reality, in your space. Bring it all in. sometimes with sound or listening, we may hear sounds that maybe we don't like, or maybe that just don't feel good. And that's okay. Like, we can just breathe in the sound without the identification. We can recognize, okay, maybe it's not my favorite sound, but sink into the breath. And so I'm going to play a little playlist that I made. It's about 18 minutes. It is a playlist of sound, so there's no music. It's just sound. I made a playlist of sounds. And there's all different types of sounds here. And so I'm going to invite you to just listen, tap into the breathing, either, breathe naturally, or if you want to bring in nose breathing, maybe an even pace, 3 in, 3 out, or 5 in, 5 out, or just feeling into the nose breath. Maybe you want to invite in breathing in through the nose and exhaling deeper through an exhale. I love really slowing down my exhale, really slow, and having it come to nothing. And then all of a sudden I just drop into a breath hold without realizing it. And if that happens to you, what I invite you to do with the breath hold is to just allow for a deeper sensation of feeling that stillness within your system. Just really feeling maybe how quiet our physical body has become. So I'm going to play some sounds, but I'm also going to play this playlist. And so the invitation, remember, is to not identify. But just to drop into a breath pattern or allow yourself to breathe naturally. And just take in all the sounds. And naturally we will think and identify a little bit into invitation to not self-sabotage or become upset, but just acknowledge and be like, okay, that's okay. And then let me move into a deeper sense of listening. A deeper sense of listening. And feeling maybe the body drop away. Just listen. Not allowing for the sound to maybe control how we feel or our system, but we just view all sound as music, as a dance. It doesn't matter what we're hearing. We can make it music for our eardrums. Listening can be such a beautiful doorway into that exploration of meditation, becoming quiet. Another piece of what breath work and breathing and all is. It's about bringing balance to our nervous system. Allowing for sound to bring us to that magical place, the world within ourselves. It's such a beautiful gateway, this listening. Allowing as well, not only does identification come up, but maybe our day or events arise. And we may use the same pattern, like just recognize it, speak to it, and then allow for it to soften and to go back in. It doesn't need to stay, we don't need to become stuck like in a spider web. We can keep moving freely, or allow for the thought or the identification to stick us in one spot, tying us up. We have that choice. We can make that discernment to recognize, speak to it, let it go, or live within those thoughts for a minute, 5 minutes, an hour, a day, or a week. And then we become those thoughts and those issues. Maybe we hit this point where it's just all blended in, and all sound just becomes silence, stillness, a feeling that's just more within our system and how we feel. And we just become energy, flowing with the day, only identifying with things when necessary, or allowing for identification to drop as we acknowledge. And gently bringing yourself back into the space, into the room. And as we awakening slowly, becoming aware of the ground that you lay upon, becoming aware of maybe the chair that you sit in. Maybe becoming aware of how the clothes feel touching your skin. Becoming aware of this is a singing bowl. And so listening is a gateway, a possible doorway that could assist people in finding more stillness and quietness, because we can practice listening anywhere at any time. And so if you're new to this, or if you've been around for a while and you still we struggle with, there's always times that we struggle. It doesn't matter who you are or how long you've been on this journey. But listening is a tool that we can use to help quiet us. Any thoughts for you, Sandy, on how that practice was today?
Oh, that was great. For one thing, I know you mentioned that it was going to be 18 minutes. That felt like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I just became I had a lot of really cool tingly sensations in like the back of my scalp, up my spine, at one point in my feet, just resonating with the sound, but trying again not to identify it. But when you said to kind of feel my body, I was really noticing like how relaxed I was, and just, I love the tingles.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you do the gong, like that's what like really woke up my like my skin tingles or whatever.
Yeah.
No, that was just
so
really,
powerful.
for one thing, this goes by so fast. It's like, I'm like, should we be doing this twice a week maybe? No, because really, I mean, as we do get more members and have more support, I do want to start a meditation, podcast or program. Or our programs we turn into podcasts because we know a lot of the members of our community either are single moms and can't afford a babysitter. They have an autoimmune condition. Maybe they're even fighting cancer, and with chemo, they really can't be out in public, or maybe we just have people that prefer to heal, solo and not necessarily in a big group setting. And so we try to honor where people are at. And again, this is why we do some of our programming live here and some of it podcast only. So we will try to keep you informed as the summer progresses. Matt and I may be taking the show on the road again. You never know. I'd like to get us back up to Maine. Hopefully by next week. I think I can't go up until Tuesday night. So we'll probably be here next Tuesday. And then the following Tuesday, what my intention will be, which is July 2nd, is we'll do Breathwork Lakeside, hopefully. And then we'll be coming back here to go to the Outlaws Festival. So we are going to be taking the Bliss Bus out to the Mansfield location. I cannot remember if it's the Tweeter or the whatever it is these days. But we have a concert calendar, and we will be using the Bliss Bus to fundraise. So if you guys are looking for a ride to the Outlaws Festival, hit us up, because like I said, we're going to do Breathwork by the lake, and then we're going to get in the car, we're going to get back here to get on the bus and go dance. So that's another way that I believe we can raise the vibration, is just, coming together and celebrating our love for music, as I have made music my religion, after all. And then there's New Kids on the Block, there's Fish, there's still a lot of opportunities. If you're looking for a ride down there, hit us up. You can DM me in our Instagram, or you can send me an email, which would be pcsmchurch@gmail.com, and inquire about how you can help us raise the funds so we can create more programs. We will be probably calling a meeting second week of July, I'm hoping to put out something to the community, like a survey, so we can talk about what you guys would like to see for our Friday night support groups in the future. My vote is once a month, maybe first Fridays, we go out dancing, and then that kind of takes the congregation on the road, and then that's how we network and we find more like-minded people, right? So, you know, whatever you guys think, whatever you want to offer for the community. I know Erin mentioned wanting to do the drum circle again. I know I want to do another crystal wrapping night. Maybe we can do a movie night. We've had a lot of ideas, but looking for ways to come together, network. So again, look out for an email. I'm thinking that second week of July, I'm going to try to get people on a Zoom so I can see your faces, because I miss you, members. And I hope you're enjoying this beautiful weather. Stay safe with the heat wave, right? Make sure you hydrate and breathe when you're in traffic. And yeah, going back to that, Matt, I do love that, how you wove in some of the less comfortable sounds, and how, again, when we sort of let go, it just can become part of it all, right? And don't identify it as being good or bad or annoying or off-putting or whatever. So that was really cool. Thank you for making that playlist. Did you record a lot of those sounds yourself, like on the train, or you found sound bites? Okay. Because I used to do that when I was in college. I used to have a mini DV recorder, and we used to have to do all of our projects really organically. And at one point, I actually recorded a bunch of kids' toys and then made like beats out of it. I thought I was so cool. Yeah. But anyway, no, I love this today. Thank you so much, Matt. And yeah, again, if you guys have ideas or ways that you think that we can connect innovatively, right? Because should our true spiritual innovation. How can we innovate? How can we innovate integration? How can we innovate community? And sort of be part of the solution to some of the crises that are going on in our society, not just our country, but around the globe. Homelessness, poverty. There's a lot going on mental health wise, and the struggle is real, and we feel you, and we have our own struggles too. And this is why we pause and slow down and do the work, because it helps. I'm here to tell you.
True that.
So thank you, Matt. And
You're
Matt, of
welcome.
course, is available for private consultations now that he has his amazing office. And so reach out to us if you're interested in a one-on-one. Because again, I'm one of those people that if I'm in a big group, I tend to take on other people's energies. I have a hard time blocking them out. So one-on-one is the way for a lot of people. And also, Matt has been working with children. And again, this isn't something that's being prescribed or covered by insurance. But Matt is very reasonable and sees how this could really benefit not just even kids, but animals. We've seen, animals really react positively to the sound healing. So if you have an animal with anxiety, even Kathleen is actually helping Leonard and made a herbal formulation, So I also make a CBD pet tincture. So we are here to support your pets. We're here to support your children and you on your path to spiritual wellness and healing and growth, because we're trying our best to maintain and love ourselves and one another in this crazy world. So that's my message. Over and out. PCSAM.org. Thank you to the members. Have a great